Hello everybody and welcome back to KSP POV, where we play Kerbal Space Program in first person. So, first off, we have 762.9 science. Let's just jump in right now and spend some of that. So the first thing I do know that I want is this heavy command module that gives us Mach 3 command pod. It also gives us a little lunar excursion module, a station piece, and a couple other options for different capacity crews. This one is a 4 capacity, but we want the Mach 3. However, we can't unlock that until we get specialized control. I'm assuming it's specialized control that locks that. So let's go ahead and get this. This one's great. It gives us better, bigger reaction wheels, as well as this probe core, which has every single maneuver available. So full control with that. Research. There we go. Ooh, unmanned tech. We'll wait on that. So we want to grab the heavy command module, which is going to take about half of our remaining science, but it will be worth it to be able to get 3 Kerbals to and from a place. Next thing we want is going to be this advanced exploration, because mainly it gives us the mobile processing lab, which means that we'll be able to start putting in and a lot of other station pieces, space station pieces, as well as a jumbo Kerbal can. This holds 10, and that'll be great for missions where we need to take a lot of Kerbals, such as tourist contracts. But primarily we want this rover, this Lynx. It's part of the ASAT feline rover system, or maybe it's not ASAT, but just the feline rover system mod. It's quite a good one, so we're going to grab that. And that does not leave us any more science except for these ones right here. And so I think we are going to take landing. That gives us better landing gear for our capsules, as well as some Lynx pieces that we can add to help us land, as well as some Falcon gears and New Shepard lands. So these are actually even more than the landing struts. These ones will be great for our missions. We're just going to unlock these 2 structures right there. So that is all we can do, unfortunately. However, we now have enough to launch another mission to the Mun, potentially Mintz as well, but I think Mintz might have to wait, because we do have a contract right here to bring a Mun stone back with us, as well as to crash a probe on the Mun, but we might do that off camera, because that's just impact. So let's go ahead and hop into mission control, see if there's anything that is doable for us, that we can make some money, because we do not have a lot. You know what? I think we only have 2 available contracts, and I think we're going to take the launch the Kerbin space station, as well as the launch the Mintz station, because we can use the same craft for both of these. We're going to take that. We're going to take that. We can use the same craft for both of those, and just send it. Once we get into orbit of Kerbin, it'll satisfy the first contract, and then we can just send it over to Mintz from there. Gonna cancel this contract because I just really don't want to deal with that right now. And we're gonna put this one on as well, build a new orbital station around Kerbin, and I believe that will solve that. So turns out I thought we were going to be landing on the Mun today, but I think we might work on getting a space station in orbit of Mintz. I think that might be the best usage of our resources right now. We can start working on producing science while we focus on gathering the stuff from the Mun. So let's hop into the vehicle assembly building. It's probably going to be a bit of tinkering around with stuff, so I may speed through the footage or I may just show you what I've built. But either way, we'll be getting started on this mission as soon as possible, weather permitting. So I'll see you soon. Alright, so this is what we came up with. Obviously the bottom lower lift here, nothing too interesting to see. For our mid-stage and main engine for our station, we have the Marlin vacuum engine, followed by Rockomax fuel tank. We've got some RCS here, and buried in between here is a stack of the recycling bits. So you got the air filters, 2 water splitters, 2 water purifiers, and so on and so forth. And then around the edges here we have some tack life support. All in all, giving us a max amount. If we have this thing fully stocked with Kerbals, it'll only give us 2 years. But with the amount of crew that we're going to have on it just now and, you know, for the foreseeable future, we got about 8 years, 218 days, 5 hours, and 50 minutes. So that is good. Oh, actually, no, take that back. We have 6 years, 276 days, 0 hours, 15 minutes. And that is because our wastewater will fill up by that point. I think I want to throw some more batteries on here, so we're just going to do that right now. Alright, moving on up, we've got a hitchhiker storage container and a station core, as well as some docking port juniors, and those are simply because those are required for the contract. These docking port juniors aren't going to be a lot of help with what we want to make later, so we may either update these docking ports later with an engineer and bring them out and doing some EVA construction, or we may just have to deprecate the space station for something else once we get better tech. But moving on up, we've got this lovely little panorama observation module, not necessary for the contract. However, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Then we have, of course, the mobile processing lab, and this is the meat and potatoes of why we're here. This is going to be extracting the science from the space above Mintz, actually the space above Kerbin as well, and then space high and low above Kerbin, space high and low above Mintz, and then process it for extra science gains. We have here the Mach 3 to 9 RIA orbital command pod. I believe this is from Far Future Technologies. And oh wow, I am loving this command pod. I had never used it before this build right here, and I'm excited to show you the IVA that comes with. So that's fun. We have an experiment here. I don't know what this is from. I think maybe Far Future Stations or Station Science, something along the lines. But we have a plant science that we can run. And we have this little experiment return unit, but that's mainly just to organize science if I need to store it somewhere before putting it into the mobile processing lab. Got a probodobidine hex and a fly-by-wire avionics hub to control the probe, the probe control aspect of it. We got some 4 high-gain antennas, and those have a distance of 80 million meters. And then all of the experiments that we had available. Unfortunately, we only have some low-tech solar panels. I really wish the low-tech solar panels and the low-tech docking ports are the downfall of this craft, but all in all, in our test, it ran pretty well. So as long as we fly it correctly, this should be an interesting mission. It is named the Mintz Informational Science Station, and we have a crew. We're going to have Jebediah and Bill piloting this, and we have 2 new scientists, 2 of the 3 scientists that we hired on here. They are going to be in the mobile processing lab once we get to orbit, but for the ride up, they're going to get the joy of riding in the panorama observation module right here. Real fast before we go, I do want to take the scientists and give them EVA experiments, because I think that'll be pretty useful. And for Bill, he's going to get some EVA repair kits. There we go. Alright, that is good. So, with all that said and done, everything finalized, we are ready to go. And as you see here in the bottom left, this rocket is going to cost $345,000 of our $358. So, hopefully these contracts pay well enough, because we are about to bankrupt our whole space agency. But it'll be worth it for the name of science. Anyways, I will see you in just a second out on the launch pad. Alright, so here we are once again on the launch pad at the proving ground, and a note on one of the windows reminding us to please fix this crack. So that is encouraging. But anyways, with nothing else left to do, let's go ahead and stage. We don't have any of our warning systems, like the altitude warning or the ground proximity. Ooh, starting to do our rotate. This is all going to be handled automatically via the MechJeb auto ascent. So for now, we're just going to sit back, relax, and watch our approach to orbit. We can actually get up out of our seat and walk around, giving us a much better view. I love the free IVA mod. That's what allows you to unbuckle yourself and walk up. I hope I'm not tipping the rocket over with my movement. Glorious. Alright, I can't wait. I am so excited for this mission. Ooh, some heating is starting to build up as we are starting to approach orbital speed. It's a little extra worrisome knowing that there's a crack in the window. Ooh, well, there goes our lower stage. We can see it explode. No, they don't explode. Never mind. They just drop down. Whew. Okay. Let's keep our arms and legs inside the ride at all time. Heating starting to dissipate as we get higher up into the atmosphere, no longer affected by such aerodynamics. And as our apoapsis reaches our targeted height, MechJeb goes ahead and plot in the maneuver. Let's go ahead. We can turn on RCS to help us align with our target a little better. And once we align with that, MechJeb will take over on the time warp, bringing us closer to our maneuver, saving us plenty of time. There we go, time warp takes over, brings us up to our apoapsis, and then automatically handles the burn for us. There we go. I was waiting. Automatically handles the burn for us. We've got over 1,000 delta V in our stage, and it's only going to take 200 some odd to finish the rest of our maneuver. So, all in all, we're looking pretty good. We're going to be able to utilize this engine to bring us out to mid-mist. And there you have it. We slowly bring ourselves into a stable orbit at 110 kilometers even. Nice. So we can go ahead and turn off RCS for right now. And let's take a look at our missions, our contracts here. So, as we see here, the Kerbin Space Station has completed all of the basic requirements, and now all we need to do is let it shake out for a day, 6 hours, and then we will have completed that contract. And what kind of money do we have right now? Oh, we did get some money for that. Where did we get that money from? Oh, because we have the heavy launches, so. There we go, time warp takes over. Brings us up to our apoapsis. And then automatically handles the burn for us. There we go. I was waiting. Automatically handles the burn for us. We've got over 1,000 delta V in our stage, and it's only going to take 200 some odd to finish the rest of our maneuver. So, all in all, we're looking pretty good. We're going to be able to utilize this engine to bring us out to mid-mist. And there you have it. We slowly bring ourselves into a stable orbit at 110 kilometers even. Nice. So we can go ahead and turn off RCS for right now. Alright, so let's look at our contracts. If we see here at the Launch Kerbin Space Station, we have completed the first two parts, which is basically to build it correctly and to get into the correct orbit. And now all we need to do is let it shake out and have a stable orbit for 1 day and roughly 6 hours. And then we will have completed that contract, and we can work on sending this out to mid-mist. As we see here, it has all the parts necessary, can support the 4 Kerbals, has the power generators and the station core and habitat, as well as it is a research vessel. So as soon as we get it into an orbit below 30 kilometers and orbit time for 2 days, but orbit time doesn't matter because that is its final resting point. So we will have completed both of those contracts and hopefully regained all the money we spent on this. So first thing I want to do is deploy everything. As we see here, our communication dishes are now out. Our solar panels were deployed automatically by MechJeb. Don't like it, but that's what happens. And so now, as we see here, we're not, I was going to do all these science to put into the science lab, but we cannot at the moment. So let's go ahead and switch over to our scientists. Hey guys, how you doing? Happy as clams. Alright. Alright. So now, time for them to get out. Take one last look at Kerbin. There we go. Take one last look at Kerbin. And then get to work. So, let's see. Is it this way? Oh, no, this is the station core. But there's some cool things to see here. It's a nicely designed IVA. One fun thing we can do is grab this. Let's check out the lower section, the hitchhiker's canister. Not as fancy, but still good. It's got food, not food in it. Everything you need. Ready for liftoff. Whoo! Nice. Propulsion. Even throwing it gives us a little bit of propulsion. Anyways, let's get to work. So all we need to do is take our scientists, come on in here and find ourselves a nice little seat. There we are. There we go. With our scientists aboard, we can now do that science once more, and now we have the option to process it in the mobile lab for a considerable amount more than it would have been. So we're going to just drop all of that into the lab, and we're going to get them to start working on it. So now we still need to orbit for a day and roughly 5 hours and 53 minutes now, but we can actually work on the next part of our maneuver, and that is to target Mintz. And we're going to go into the map mode and plot in our inclination change. There are ways to do this without going into map mode. However, I feel like since they have stable communications with the KSC as well as probe control, it makes sense that they'd be able to allow someone else to plot the maneuver for them. We're going to let MechJeb execute that as well. So yeah, so there's nothing else left to do except time warp our way to our maneuver, change our relative inclination, and then wait out the rest of the shakeout. So I will see you shortly. Something's banging around back there. And with that, our relative inclination has dropped below 1, which is good to see. So now all we need to do is wait for our shakeout to happen. This was why the observation deck was absolutely worth it. And there we have it. Contract has been completed. All right, Bob. Time to get back to work. Oh, hey guys. How y'all doing? All right, back once again and in the helm. There we have it. Alright, so now with Jeb back in control, let's go ahead and plot in our maneuver to get us out to mid-miss. We are already at the right inclination, so there's no point in waiting any further. Alright, we don't have a lot of time, so let's go ahead and execute the next node. We're going to turn on RCS to turn ourselves there. We only got a couple minutes. But it's only going to take us 899 Delta V. We have 646 in this stage, so we will have to separate our lower boosters, but that'll give us a decent push on towards mid-miss. I'll turn on our floodlights for now, get some light in here. Alright, now we are time warping our way. It's a short move to our maneuver. And there we go. So, MechJeb should be able to handle this. I will need to stage it. Here's our Delta V. And it is about to be out. And stage. There should be some explosives on it. Yep, there we go. So that is taken care of. No more space debris for us. And so now it's just a matter of burning our way until we make it to our target. And there we go. Our final approach is 38.81 kilometers, but as we noticed from our mission, whoops, we want to actually clear this node. We don't want any more changes. Oh, yeah, that changed us considerably. Yeah, 400. Okay, maybe it didn't change us considerably. Just okay. So we are going to point ourselves prograde and bring in our approach ever so slightly. Turn on RCS to help move our way there. Alright, point ourselves prograde. There we go. And burn ever so slightly. Let's turn down our throttle, actually. Really just butter this in. Ooh, alright, let's just, one more. There we go. That's decent enough. 27 kilometers above the surface. We're going to check in map mode just to confirm. There we go. And let's just go ahead and add our circularization burn here. And we'll change our inclination later. Execute our next node. However, I think we're going to do something real fast. Let's time warp our way. We're going to break through the time warp that it wants to do, and we're going to time warp our way right here. There we go, and we can allow it to do the rest of its time warp. We're going to do our second set of science in space high above Kerbin. We're going to add that to our mobile processing lab. There we go. We don't have a way of doing it in the IVA mode, but we do have scientists aboard, so we're going to allow it to clean the experiments in the mobile science processing lab. Mobile science processing lab. That's what it's called. Let's make sure our next node is attached. Yep. All right. So we are all set. We can turn that off. Ooh, time warping fast to the maneuver. Okay, all right. We're starting to get close. There we go. Oh, you know what? I never turned down the throttle limiter. So let's go ahead. Let's actually kill that. There we go. What's our altitude? We're too low. All right. So we're going to change this around, actually. I ended up time warping a little too close to where I wanted to be. So let's take our periapsis. And we're going to bring it so we can get into high space again. Let's turn our throttle limiter back to 100%. Now we'll allow it to execute that node instead. Alright, yeah, so this wasn't planned. So unfortunately, we may... Nah, we're not gonna run out of fuel. We've got a 1300, we're good. Let's go ahead and do our science, because I believe we're in space near. Yes, we are. And there we are, coming in for a landing. Bring all those into the mobile processing lab. There we are. So now we're going to do one more thing before we call it quits here. Well, two more things. We're going to get ourselves up into space high. There we have it. So we've got a ton of science for those scientists to work on. And there's nothing else we need them to do now. So let's go ahead and bring our orbit back down to 27 kilometers. And once again, plot that into MechJeb. And there we have it. Our orbit is now below 30 kilometers, which is what was required for this RCS. We don't need you on. We can actually kill everything there. And in fact, let's just go ahead and turn off the engine. And we are going to point ourselves retrograde. So I feel like that's a nice way to go. And can we rotate to see anything? There we are. Hi, Mintz. Excellent. Okay, so now we have 1 day, 2 hours to go. So now Bill can go ahead and get out of his seat and once more go back to the viewing module, and Jeb actually can join him as well because their job is done. For now, they can just hang out and relax while the scientists do their work, and then soon enough they'll have another mission for them to do, because we are going to need to grab science off the surface of Mintz and bring it back here as well. So I'm thinking maybe in the next episode, if we don't go to the Mun in the next episode, maybe we land something on Mintz. That's so fun. And there we have it. We have successfully completed the launch of the Mintz station contract. Ooh, so we wanted to do this one in addition, but I did neglect to see that we needed 2 tourists on the station. However, I'm glad that we didn't have those tourists on the station, because then they would now be in orbit of Mintz, which would make it a lot harder to rescue them and bring them home. So I'm glad that we didn't complete that. We can do that later, and we'll have a space station around Kerbin, which will probably be pretty good for tourism, so I'm pretty excited about that. And as we see here, our science is increasing because our scientists are working. So this will just produce science, built it up, and while we do other things, while we send other missions either to the Mun or here, they're just going to continuously work until they've created 500 points of science, in which case then we can communicate back with Kerbin, send all that science home, and get 500 amounts of science. But they have so much data that they can do that 500 amount of science multiple times, so this will be very lucrative for us moving forward. But anyways, like I said, in the next episode, we are going to figure out where we want to go from here, whether or not to go back to the Mun for the science that we missed out on, or to just pursue Mintz and keep going forward. But if you have any suggestions or have any comments about the series, I would love to hear your thoughts, so let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward for more KSP POV. If you did think about subscribing, drop me a like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.